Hello and welcome to my channel. In the previous video we have seen mathematical functions in a SQL Server. So in this video we will see string functions in a SQL. So the string function performs some operations on a string input value and it will return a string or a numeric value. So in that we have multiple functions that we are using in day-to-day lab coding. We have like a CHARINDEX, Substring, we have left, right, space, replace, replicate and many more. So we will see one by one. So the first function we have in a string function, that is a ASCII. So the ASCII means we have American Standard Code for information interchange. So we'll go for the first and we are using that the function that is a ASCII. And so just I will make a note down here. So it will return means we are giving an input in a character and it will return a numbers here, okay, but it will return a ASCII code for the leftmost character from string. So ASCII code means it will give a in integer, okay. So now we will see, also we will see the application of ASCII means where we are using the ASCII functions, okay. So first we will see one simple example, that select and the function that is ASCII, and we'll just give apply the value here. So we'll check for the character A and it will give a number here for the function, okay. So just we'll run here now and it giving a number here, that is a 65, okay. So also we will see another difference here as well. If we'll give a value in a small character means not in uppercase, then also the value means the number is changing here, okay. So just I will replace here with the small a, then it will give a another value here, okay, means it will return a 97 here. Also that also we need to remember here. And the leftmost I have mentioned here, why? Because if we'll give a multiple character here as an input, so it will take the code for only the leftmost or first character only. So we'll see one example here as well. So now we'll paste here and we'll apply value here. Suppose for example ABC, then it will take for code only for A here, okay. So now we'll run here. And for A already we have seen it will return a 65, so it have taken the only left character and the left character A, for that code we have that is a 65 here. Also we will see one example here that we are using ASCII code in our coding here, okay. So let's suppose we have one table here, student table. So we'll see the records from the student table. So we have 5 records here. Now I want to fetch the records that starting from A and M here, okay. So with the help of ASCII function also we can use a like operator for that as well, but with the help of ASCII functions as well we can get the records that name is starting from A and M, okay. So now we have 2 records that starting means with A, that is Akash, and for M that is we have Mangesh. So we'll get a 2 records here. For that we'll return a code, select star from student where, and the function we have that is a ASCII here. So we'll use a ASCII. So we'll apply the column name here, that is a S name here, okay. And between, so for A already we have seen the number that is a 65 and for M that is a 77. So now it will return a only 2 results here, that is for Akash and Mangesh. So now we'll run the query here and we are able to see the results here. So that is the application of ASCII function, okay. So the next function we have, that is a CHAR. If you remember in our previous video we have seen while creating a table we are using a CHAR, so that is become a data type, but here we are using a CHAR function while writing a query, so that will become a string function. And that CHAR function is a total opposite to ASCII function. In ASCII we are giving input value as a character and it will return as a number, but in a CHAR we are giving input value as a number and it will return as a character, okay. So now we will see the second function we have, that is a char. For example, we are giving a input value as a here and we are returning as a 65. Now here we are giving a 65, then it will become written as a character here. Okay, so first we will make a note down here. So it will convert a integer ASCII to character string. Okay, so now we will see the example here. Select char and now we'll give the input value as a 65, so it will become, so it will return a character here. Okay, so the result we are getting here, that is a. If you want to see another example, then we'll copy the syntax here and we'll check for a 77, so it will become a written as a here. Okay, so that is a total opposite to ASCII function. Okay, so now the next function we have, that is a CHARINDEX. So CHARINDEX will return a starting position of any expression in a character string. Okay, so we'll see the example here as well. The next function is a CHARINDEX. Okay, and it will return starting position of any character or expression. Okay, so now we will see the example here. So we'll remove the result set here. Select the function that is a CHARINDEX. So we are able to see in our list as well here. Now if I will open a bracket here, so it will suggest a syntax here. So the first value I want to give here, that is a search expression, means which character you want to search, that first you want to give. Suppose now we will use a word here that will be the welcome. On that I want to see the search, that is a C. So just I will give first C here. Then if I will give a comma here, then it will highlight the next value that I want to give here. That should be the expression to be searched, means on which word we are using, means or we are searching that character. Okay, so now I want to give here, that is a expression here, and that should be the welcome. So we need to give two expression here for the CHARINDEX function. If you don't remember that, then automatically while we are using that function, so it will suggest that with how many expressions we want to give for that particular character. So you don't want to remember for any one of the function here. So okay, so now we will run and it is showing that the C character in a welcome word we are at a 4 number. Okay, so that is simple. Now we will see if any one of the character that becomes a duplicate. Now here we are able to see the E is a duplicate, but it is in a definition we have seen that is a starting, it will return a starting position. So the starting position of E, that should be the second. So it will not give the 7th character, so it will give a second character, means the second number here. Okay, so now just we will copy the query and we'll paste here and we'll check. Instead of C, just I am using a E here and it will return a 2 instead of 7 here. Okay, so that is a CHARINDEX function. Okay, so now we will see the left function. Okay, so the left function will return a left part of any word or syntax, means a character string. Okay, so we will see it will return left part of character string. Also we will see the real application of the left and right function as well here. Okay, so first we will see the example of welcome here. Select left. Now suppose in welcome, just I want to select only well here instead of welcome. So the well should be the left part of that word. Okay, now we will use here. Now also it will show here the expression, means first I want to use the expression here, and after that I want to give a number of characters, means how many characters I want here. So first I will give my input here, that is a welcome, and in that welcome if we will give a comma here, now I want to only the 3 characters from left of that welcome. Okay, so it will return a only well here. Okay, so now just will paste the result here. Okay, now we will see the real application here. Means in store pusher mostly we are using a left and right function to get a files. Means in a data, means we have a data in a file, so while reading the file, so the first that will be the file name, and then we have a date as well in a file naming convention, and then we have a file extension. So the file name should be, let's suppose we have a xyz, and then we have a date here, so just we'll make a date here. So we have a 03 2026 dot csv. So that should be our file name here. So now just I want to check that the file in that folder, that should be the bad file or good file. So how you can check, because the date is changing every day. Okay, so now we have only the file naming convention, that is a base file name we can call it as. So that will be the xyz. So now if you want to check that, means on a daily basis we are processing that xyz file or not, or sometimes the files are coming with a bad file name as well. Means instead of xyz we have any files, or if we are missing any underscore here or something we are adding, or something missing here. So we want to check the file is good or bad, on which basis. So for that we can use a left function as well. So if the date will change, so we will not worry about here date. So just we will compare the xyz with the help of left function here. So that will be our real application here. Okay, so now we will see here, select left, then I will give a file name here. So the file name should be in a single quote, and again I am using only 3 characters or 4 characters here. So that will be the xyz and underscore here. Okay, so the date are changing every day, so we are not taking a date here. So it will become a xyz, and the whatever the results we are getting, so we are matching with our table. So it will match, then the files are good. Otherwise if it will not matching, then we are considered as a file as a bad. Okay, yeah. So the next function we have a that write. So it is similar to the left function. Okay, so now we have a write here, and it will return a write part of a character string. Okay, so now we'll take an example here, the same date. So if you want to check the naming convention, means the file extension, so then we can use a write function. If you want to use a date as well, then also we can use a write function here. Okay, so now we'll use a select and the function that is a write. Again same, we want to give a 2 expression for the write function as well, same. So the first expression, that should be our file name. So I'm giving a file name here. Now I want to check, means I want to get only the extension here, means .csv, or we have .text or .xlsx. Okay, now just I want to get only the 4 character from write, so that will be the .csv here. Okay, so just we are getting written here as a .csv. Okay, so the now next function we have, that is a length function. Okay, so with the help of length function we can calculate the number of characters in that particular word or the syntax rather than a bytes. Okay, so now the length function will return number of character. Now we'll check the welcome length. Okay, so select the length, so it will give output as a integer. So we are giving input as a string here, so just we'll use a welcome here, and in welcome we have 7 character. So just we want to check that how many characters it will return here. So we have a 7 characters. Okay, so this function also mostly we are using in a day-to-day lab coding. So the next function we have, that is a lower here. Okay, so the 7th function we have a lower. So the lower function return a lowercase value, means if we'll give a characters and in a uppercase, means in a capital, so it will return as a lowercase. Okay, so now we will just make a comment here. So it will return a expression to lowercase, and we are giving input as a uppercase or a capital letters. So select lower, and just we are giving with a single quote, and for that lower and upper we want to give only one expression here. Okay, so now we have already here welcome, so just we'll apply here the welcome, that should be the uppercase, so it will becomes a lowercase, means in a small letters. Okay, so now we'll execute here. Yeah, so it becomes a lowercase. And the next function we have, that is a uppercase, it will total opposite to the lowercase. Now we will give input as a lowercase and it will return as a uppercase here. Okay, so the function here, that is a uppercase, and just will comment here, that is a it will return a expression to uppercase here. Okay, so now just we will take one example here. Select uppercase, select upper, and we will give an input here that should be in lowercase, so we will use a welcome here again, and it will return in a capital characters here. Okay, so that is a uppercase. Okay, so now next function we will see LTRIM here. Okay, LTRIM. So L means left, trim means it will remove the left blank space. Okay, so blank means we are calling as a leading blank as well here, so it will remove left blank space here, we are calling as a leading blanks as well. Okay, so now we will see the example here. First we will select only with the space, so we are not using a LTRIM as of now here. So just we are giving here a blank space on the left side, and then we'll use a function here, the input, that is a welcome here. Okay, so now we'll see the result, and with LTRIM also we'll see the result. So we have a left space here, means the blank space here we have. So now this time we'll use a LTRIM here, so we will see the difference without LTRIM and with the LTRIM here. So instead of that we can use the same here. Yeah, so now instead of we will use here LTRIM, and now we will see the difference between two without LTRIM and with LTRIM. So the left blank space is removed here. Okay, so that is a LTRIM function. Same, the next function we have, that is a RTRIM, so it will remove the blank space from the right side. Okay, so R means we have right here, and we are calling as a trailing blanks here as well. Okay, so the function we have, that is a RTRIM, and it will remove right blank space, we are calling as a trailing blanks, and it will truncate all the trailing blanks from the expression. Okay, so now we will see the example. As of now we are not able to see because the right space we are not able to see here, but we will see the example here, that is the RTRIM. And if we have any space here, so then we can use it, we can remove that here. Okay, so we will use here welcome, and if we have any right space here, then we are not able to see the right here. Okay, yeah. So the next function we have, that is the replace function here. So 9th will be replace. So first we'll see the example here, and then we'll make a note here. Okay, so select replace here. So for replace we require 3 arguments here. Okay, so the first argument will be the our searching, means from which word or sentence we are searching or we are replacing that. Okay, so that will be the first. I will use here Jack and Jew here. Okay, so the second expression will be the which character I want to replace here, so that I want to mention here. Suppose I want to replace J here, and J with which character I want to replace, that should be the our third expression. Okay, so now here I want to replace J from Jack and Jew with the BL. Okay, so if we'll replace, then it will become say black and blue here. Okay, so now we'll see the result here. Okay, so that will be our result. So just you want to remember that for replace function we require 3 expression here. So we'll make a note here that it will return or it will replace, we can consider that all given expression as per condition. Means the first expression we want to replace from with the second expression and with the third. Okay, so the next function we have, that is similar to the replace, that will be the replicate, but the function is different here. Okay, so now we will see the example here for the replicate. So if we'll give any character here or expression here, so how many number of times we want to replicate that word or the sentence, so it will become a replicate. Okay, so now just I will use here welcome, and the second expression, that should be the number of times. Okay, so now I will use here 3 times, so it becomes a 3 times here. Okay, so the next function we have, that is a space function here. Okay, so if you will see, observe the result here, that is a welcome. So we don't have a space in between that 2 words or 3 words here. Okay, so if you want to give the space in between that, so then we'll use a space function here. For that we need to use a select, but this time we'll not use a space, the function first, but now we will use a first input value. So the input value should be our hello, so that will be our first word, and then we'll with a plus we'll use a space here, we can add a space, and also we can use a number of space also what we require. So now just we will give here 2, then we'll again add a plus, and then we'll give another word, that will be our welcome here. Okay, now we'll close the bracket and we'll see here the result set. So we are able to see the 2 space here. Okay, so we will see also for the replicate as well. So if we'll run here the replicate function, so we don't have a space here. If you want to add a space here, then after welcome, just we can with a plus we can add here. Oh. So if we'll see here, then we can add a space in a welcome here as well. So just we'll add here with a plus, then space function, and we'll add a 2 here, and just we'll close the bracket here. So now we are able to see this result here instead of this welcome. Okay, so just now I will replace with this. Okay, yeah. So the next function we have, that is a reverse function. Okay, So the reverse function means it will reverse any word here. Okay, so now just we'll check here. If we'll select and then reverse, so now just we'll apply the input here. So that will be the now we are able to see that should be the O here, that should be the last, but it becomes a first, so that will be our reverse function. Okay, so that is our result. So it will return a reverse of a given expression. Also we can make a note down here to add space in between. So for that we are using a space function for replicate. Also we can make a note down here. So the replicate will return an expression with number of times. Okay, so the last function we have that is a substring function. Okay, and that is a very important function. So I will make just a star mark here. So that will be our substring function. So the substring function will return any part of that word. Means suppose if you want to use only L or C from that welcome, but already we have seen with the left and right function, with the help of left function we are able to get only the character from left side, and with the help of right function we are able to get only the character from right side. But if I want to use or I want to select in between characters from the starting len and that ending len, so that is not possible in with the left or right. So the substring will given any middle character from that any of the word. Also we'll see the real example here as well. So first we will see the example here, that is a select. So already we have seen the example of file that we are picking. So in that we have a date that is at the middle. So if I want to check only the date, so that should be the valid, or I want to pick the file only for that date, so then I want to get a date from that file name. So then we'll use a substring function here. Okay, so we are able to see the function here, substring, and if we'll give a comma here, then the first should be the expression. So the file name should be, we have seen that xyz underscore 0303 2026, then we have a dot and CSV. So that will be our expression. From that I want to get only date here instead of all the. Okay, so the second, that should be the starting length. So the starting length should be our 5 here. Okay, so now I will use a 5, and after that I want to get a 8 character, means that is the 8 should be our ending length here. So now we are able to see the only date from that given expression. Okay, so that is a substring function, and this is our application. Okay, now I will give a comment here, so that it will return a part of string so it will return a part of given expression. Okay, so with the help of that we can get any one of the result. Okay, thanks for watching this video. In next video we will see date and time functions, so please subscribe and press the bell icon to get a notification. See you in next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing.